we are joined here today by Brett Johns. Brett's going to be fighting March 20th, 2015 at the Brickley Aeroplex in Mobile, Alabama. He's going to be facing Walel Watson, taking him on for the vacated belt, or the vacant belt, at Titan Fighting Championship 33, and we're lucky enough to have a couple minutes with him here today. So, Brett, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm actually very tired and very fatigued. I've had a tough week in training, so I'm glad to be home. Just going to chill out now over the next 2 days and back at it Monday.
Now, Brett, you are currently not in the U.S. You're in England, correct?
I'm in Wales. It's a big thing out in Wales, you know. I think you guys, it's equivalent for you guys calling America Canada or Canada America. It's like, at the moment I'm in Wales. We don't like to be classed as English, we don't, so.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
When are you going to make it over here? When will you be coming stateside?
It's going to be, it's not going to be a long time. I'm not going to be in the States for a long time. We'll probably be there about a week before. To be honest, the majority of obviously the time difference and stuff is completely different. So we're looking to be out there 6 days before, but I'll be fighting US time back home. So it'll be like I'll be waking up at about 3 o'clock. I'll be doing my heavy sparring at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning to kind of get the same sort of timing as out there in the States.
So you're already doing that. You're already acclimating yourself to this time zone.
We'll start that now, beginning of March, just to get into the rhythm of it.
And is this the first time that you're fighting stateside? I know currently you're 10-0, and you had a lot of fights for Cage Warriors. But have you fought in the U.S. before?
I believe it or not, I haven't actually fought outside of Wales, my home country. I've had 15 fights in total. I've had 5 sort of amateur fights. I was 5-0 as an amateur. And I was 10 as a pro, and I haven't fought further than about 40, 50 miles from my house.
Oh, really? So this is going to be a big difference from what you're used to. Yeah,
put it this way, I've never been in a hotel of fighters. I've always slept in my own bed and stuff, and woke up and gone to the venue the next day.
Now, how did you get hooked up with Titan?
It was obviously it was a big fuss a couple of months ago where I left Cage Warriors and stuff. It was Cage Warriors is a fantastic company. It's run by a guy called Graham Boylan, who's a really nice guy. Who was really done my career. He progressed my career as a promoter. And it was just a call from my management company, Sucker Punch Management. And my coach, Chris Reese, they said, look, we think we're going to have a better market in the US. Now you've got a good record. Let's go out there and show the Americans, who you are. So that was the choice. And, I fought for the belt. It would have been nice to probably fight for the belt again. But, as other opportunities have come, I'm fighting for another world title in America. So I think I made the right choice already.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, a lot of people outside of the hardcore MMA fans might not know who you are, but from listening to Lex McMahon, the COO of Titan, and speaking with Jeff, the CEO of Titan, they've both told me that after March 20th, a lot of people are going to know who you are. Give us a quick background of how you started with mixed martial arts.
I started my martial art career very young. My mother was a single mother, and she took me to a lot of judo classes, and she met my stepfather back then, and we basically did judo at the age of 4 years old to about 16 years old. I'm a black belt judo. A lot of people kind of don't know that as well. Then my mother and father separated, but I'm still in good contact with my father, who's also my sensei, my coach. And then it was at a point in my judo career where we were looking to do London 2012 Olympics, and it just became an unrealistic goal, So I was in judo, believe it or not, back then I was just getting thrown and subbed, and my father said, look, you need to work on your ground game. So I went to my local BJJ gym at the time, which was the Chris Reese Academy. I went to the gym, and within about 3 or 4 sessions, we were doing a lot of BJJ stuff, and I looked over to the other class, and there was an MMA class going on, and I just fell in love instantly with it. It was somewhere where I could progress my sort of career. I wasn't changing a major career. You know, I wasn't exactly going from like say judo to chess. You know, I could use my judo skill, and within the first 5 fights, you know, my fifth amateur fight, I fought a guy who was pro at the time who was undefeated, and it was by both parties. You know, we agreed to it. You know, he dropped back down to amateur so I could fight for a title, because back then, you know, a lot of people I fought heard who I was, but they didn't want to take the fight. So this professional guy took it, and after that win, you know, I kind of knew, you know, I could really do well in the sport. And you know, it's been 10 fights later. I've won a Welsh title, I've won a British title, I've won a world title, and it's just, you know, it's America now. You know, it's a dream come true for me to go out to the States and fight. You know. And you know, I'm looking at the roster of British talent over there. You know, you got your Irish guys, your Neil Series, your Cathal Pendreds, your Conor McGregors. You got your English guys, which are like, you know, Michael Bisbin, you know, Ross Pearson, and then you got your Scottish guys. Joanne Badmofo, Jojo, you know, Joanne Calderwood,
Yep.
Robert Whitefoot. You American guys over there are missing a Welsh guy. You know, you got your complete United Kingdom thing. You're missing this Welsh guy, and I'm the man for the job. You know, and after this fight with Walel, you know, he's a good guy and stuff, but people are going to hear who I am.
Now, Judo is making a strong comeback into mixed martial arts, it seems. With the emergence of Ronda Rousey and her strong Judo background, it's becoming something that a lot of people are turning to as one of the bases of mixed martial arts. Is this giving you an advantage, having as much experience in Judo as you do when you step into the cage with people that have no experience with it?
Yeah, you know, my sort of style for judo was very wrestling based. You know, when I was doing judo, you know, I was people back then were classing me as like a wrestler. You know, people thought, oh, he must have wrestled before, and I'm like, no, I'm just a judo guy. You know, so that's why, you know, I think a lot of people back in the UK have said, look, you know, he's fought some good guys. I fought one or two wrestlers back here, and I basically wrestled wrestlers and won. You know, and that's why the US is just out there. You know, the US is known for the wrestling pedigree, and I think with my style, I think it's going to cause people a lot of problems. You know, like I say, to my coach, I am nowhere near a good freestyle wrestler. I'm not a good freestyle wrestler, but I'm very good at wrestling MMA. And it's a thing that GSP sort of brought his approach. You know, he didn't do a lot of freestyle wrestling, and when he did, he wasn't one of the best in the world. But for MMA, he was, and I feel like I'm the equivalent to a sort of GSP sort of thing. You know, I'm not a good freestyle wrestler. I wasn't a good judo player, but it seems to work better for me when I put it all together in the cage.
Yeah, we just saw that evidenced last week with Sarah McMahon and Miesha Tate. Sarah McMahon, a phenomenal freestyle wrestler. Miesha Tate is a great wrestler in her own right, but her wrestling has transferred over and morphed more into MMA wrestling, and we saw, you know, the advantage that gave her in that fight. So is that kind of what you're talking about, having that type of skill level where it's more mixed martial arts wrestling as opposed to what people might consider just freestyle wrestling and Olympic wrestling?
Yeah, I also saw it a few weeks ago, and I stayed up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to watch Jones and Cormier, and you saw in that fight, you know, where Jones is he's just absolutely phenomenal. Like, you know, he just wrestled the wrestler. You know, that's why I think, like, yes, being an Olympic wrestler is going to help you in this sport. It's going to give you a lot of advantages, but people look at that as if it's a brick wall, as if, nope, I can't go in that section of the fight. You know, he's a better wrestler than me, and I think that's a lot of rubbish, really. You know, you got like John Jones pushed the boundaries, and look at him now. You know, he defeated a wrestler in his own game in the 4th round of that fight. You know, so yeah, and I like you said, you know, Miesha Tate and McMahon. You know, I watched that fight, and that was a phenomenal fight. Personally, I thought it was fight of the night on the card. You know, I don't watch a lot of women's MMA, but that fight was absolutely phenomenal. You know, but yeah, you know, like I said, was she a silver medalist in wrestling? I'm not quite sure. Yeah. So, you know, Miesha Tate pushed the boundaries then. She pushed the boundaries with a broken orbital bone or whatever it was. She broke her eye socket or something. And she still did the job, you know. So, you know, I'm a big fan of Miesha Tate after that fight.
Now, getting back to you and your upcoming fight, you will be facing Walel Watson. You said that, you know, he's not a bad guy. It doesn't sound like there's much bad blood between you guys. But have you had any interaction with him? Have you, had a chance to meet him at all? Or is it going to be going into this fight and that's the first time you're going to see him at the weigh-ins.
Yeah, the first time I'm going to probably see him at the weigh-in. You know, we speak a lot over well, not a lot. We speak a little bit over social media and stuff. You know, he puts his stuff on his social media. I put my stuff on social media. Now, you know, a couple of fans have said something. You know, like, oh, you know, Walel's going to win or Johns is going to win. You know, but it doesn't matter to me whether the fight. I don't need to hype this fight up. You know, the fans out there will see a different me. You know, I had a lot of stick years ago for being in Cage Warriors. I started off my first British title fight on a promotion called Pain Pit. A lot of guys were like, look, this guy, you know, I was fighting a guy called Joe Ori, a very experienced fighter, and you know, they were going, he's not going to win this. So you know, my fight I ended up triangling in the first round. You know, I'm finding out he was a very, very good friend of mine before the fight, and we're even better friends after the fight with me and Joe. I thought McAllister, who was a guy from Dinky Ninjas, the same gym as Joanne Calderwood. I thought a good guy, James McAllister, out there, and you know, basically you stopped him with strikes in the second round. He was meant to be my toughest test, and we got put in like my world title. I fought twice in one night. You know, I fought for the world title for Cage Warriors. They gave me 2 fights, and I was put in there with some big sharks, with some big names. You know, and a lot of people were doubting me back then. You know, my first fight was a guy who I rate. He should be in the UFC now, but he's just not. You know, a guy called David Hagstrom. If you guys get 5 minutes to check him on YouTube, this guy's special. You know, he's my toughest fight to date, definitely. You know, a lot of guys on the internet, the majority of them had tweets coming through saying John should be in this tournament. He's not good enough. Blah blah. His experience isn't good enough, and basically, you know, he hurt me with a body shot. I'm not sure if you've seen that fight, but he kicked me in the body. 10 seconds left to go, and he knocked the wind out of me. And I come back then for the next 2 rounds and dominated him, you know, cut him open with a nice elbow in the 3rd round. And I finished that fight. I won the round. I won the fight by decision. I think it was 29-28 or something like that. And then an hour and a half later, I was fighting for my first ever world title. I did another 5 fights an hour and a half after the Hagstrom fight. I fought a young lad called Jordan Desborough, who was a good guy, you know. And beat him over 5 rounds, you know. So my cardio is really good, you know. And after that fight, you know, I fought James Brum, who was one of the biggest names in my career at the time. He was 14-2. I was 9-0. He had fought the like big names, you know, Eric Perez. What's his name? Eric Perez, who's currently in the bantamweight division in the UFC. The Mexican kid. He fought him and you know, just lost a good fight there. But you know, he was my biggest name, and a lot of people again were saying like, look, you know, Brett, you've bitten off a bit more you can chew. I beat him over 5 rounds, you know. I beat him. One judge scored it 5 rounds to 0, you know. So every time I go in that octagon, I'm better and better. And the biggest difference from April last year to now is definitely my boxing. You know, my wrestling's always been there. It's my boxing that people are going to see the difference. You know, a lot of websites have basically said, look, Johns is a prospect, but you know, his hands need to be worked on. You know, and you know, I've worked a lot on my hands as well as my grappling. You know, I wouldn't have years like this if I wasn't grappling, you know. But yeah, you know, that's the biggest factor in this fight. You know, it's going to be the wrestling, yes, but it's going to be. I can see it being neutralised. You know, he's got a good ground game. I've got a good wrestling game.
Right.
Stand up there, then. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Now, the event is the Aerofest. It's a week-long event. There's going to be food vendors, music attractions. But on Saturday, it's basically you guys. A huge card, the 4 title fights, including yours. I think there's 8 other fights altogether. They're expecting anywhere from 30 to 50,000 people to pass through the event at some point. So this has potential to be a huge crowd. It's taking place in the hangar down there. The weigh-ins are taking place on the USS Alabama, a battleship. Is this the biggest type of production that you've ever been involved with?
Yeah, you know, like I said, Cage Wars was a brilliant run promotion. But put it this way, I've never weighed in on a battleship before, so that's just
nobody has.
No, I know. It's just a crazy experience, you know. This is why I wanted to come out there. You know, I want to come to the States. I want to see the fans. You know, back in the UK, you know, if you do well, a lot of people kind of run you down. They like to see the underdog do well in the UK more than the favourite, you know, and. Coming out there, it's just going to be meeting a fresh new bunch of people, you know. I can't wait to go out there and meet the American crowd and to see the troops out there as well, you know. And it's just going to be an amazing week, you know. And after the fight, I want to celebrate a bit out there, you know, with the fans and stuff, and just getting a few Americans out there. That'd be brilliant, you know. This is why it's a dream come true for me, you know. I'm fighting in the US, you know. My dream isn't to get the UFC. My dream was to fight in the US, you know. I didn't think I'd be good enough when I started this thing to go to the US, but here I am, you know.
Absolutely. By all accounts, it's going to be you know, an exciting fight to watch. Now, coming over, where are you in your training right now? Are you starting a camp? Have you started a camp? Are you in camp? Do you work out all the time? What's your training schedule?
My camp started a week after my last fight in April last year. The most time I've taken off is a week. Just to tell you how much I'm in the gym. I'm in the gym 3 times a day, you know. The only time I get off, really, before my world title fight for Cage Warriors, I was on a problem with overtraining. You know, I was very bad, so my rest time is important now. I've kind of learned that the hard way, and you know, I'm training from Monday to Saturday, and I'm training hard. You know, there's no other way to say this. My body feels broken at the minute, but on fight night, you know, you're gonna see me at my 100%. You know, win, lose, or draw this fight, I got no excuses. You know, I've trained so hard. I picked up a lot of injuries in the way, which I've got over. You know, and I'm focused, I'm motivated, and I'm on track. You know, I want another world title. You know, I don't want to be known as a world champion. It'd always be better to be known as a double world champion. You know, and I'm just ready to.
Absolutely.
You know,
2 is better than 1. 2 is better than 1.
Exactly. You know, and
so
go on.
No. I was just going to say, so the event is March 20th. It's in Mobile, Alabama. Titan Fighting Championships 33, taking on Walel Watson for the title. As this happens, are you worried at all about being caught up in the moment of fighting in the U.S., being on a big production like this? Any worries or fears of, you know, falling into that jitters type of trap?
No, not really. You know, it's obviously it's the first time I'm fighting in the US. You know, I'm looking forward. Like I said before, yes, I don't have the luxury on my bed. You know, like I said, I've fought a lot back home, but no, I'm not worried. You know, to go out there, I'm just gonna, you know, fight like I fight really. As long as that crowd's making noise, you know. If you watch my fights, you see how pumped up I get before a fight. As long as the crowd are making noise, I don't care. You know, I'm going to go out and fight. If they're screaming my name, if they're booing me, you know, they're making noise. It's brilliant. You know, people see how pumped I get when I walk out to a fight. You know, I'll have some family and friends there as well. And as soon as I make eye contact with them and they're telling me and they scream my name and stuff, my face changes and I'm just ready to go. You know, so yeah, as long as the crowd are making a noise, it shouldn't be too much of a factor. You know, the weight cut issue, you know, that's out the window now. This is the first ever time in my professional career where I haven't been worried for a weight cut. You know, so after my last performance where I failed weight, you know, I missed weight by 2 pounds, 137 I was. They've gone out the window. Then thoughts go out the window. I'm very shocked, actually, very scared that I'm not scared to do this weight cut. You know, we're doing it a different way. And you know, I'm just ready. You know, that's the worst bit about the fighting for me is this weight cut. You know, people have weaknesses in MMA. People have, like, you know, your stand up could be bad, or your ground game could be bad, or, you know, I don't feel like that with any of my sort of my skills. But I feel like one of my biggest weaknesses was my weight cutting. Nobody enjoys doing it, but I found it a lot harder than other people. And like I said, I don't cut major weight. I won't consider myself one of the biggest bantamweights. But you know, I've sat down and spoke to my coach, Chris Reese, and basically we're doing it a different way. I feel confident.
Excellent. Well, once again, the fight is March 20th, Mobile, Alabama. You'll be coming in that week. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Any predictions on how the fight's going to go?
You know, it's one of them things, like, you know, anything can happen on the night. You know, like I said in previous interviews, Walel hasn't. I feel like Walel Watson has got more power than other guys I've fought, but he seems to throw the right thing at the right time, which, you know, you see a lot of knockouts caused because of that. And no, my prediction is it's going to be a good fight. You know, and you know, I'm going to get my hand raised. I'm going to beat a really good UFC veteran. You know, it's like I said, it's an honour, it's a privilege to fight him. You know, I've never fought a UFC vet before, so it's a privilege and honour to fight him. You know, he's a good fighter and stuff. But yeah, obviously I see my hand getting raised at the end of the night.
All right, well, March 20th, people are going to be able to watch it on CBS Network, being brought to 93 million homes. So that's a huge opportunity for you. But if people don't get an opportunity to see that fight that night, where can they follow you on social media like Twitter, Facebook? Where can they follow you with not only what's going on with this event, but any future events you have?
Yeah, my Twitter is at 36johns. My Instagram is the Pikey MMA. And I've got a group on Facebook that's getting worked on at the minute, which is Brett Pikey Johns. Just give that an ad, guys. And like I said, you want to ask any questions, I'm always on social media. A bit too much, actually, but yeah, you just ask me any questions and I'll answer them.
All right, and you're training out of Chris Reese Academy, obviously working with them. Anybody else you want to thank? Any sponsors? Anybody along the lines that want to give a
Let's
shout out?
thank my stepfather, my judo coach, my sensei Andrew Burt, and everybody at the Dragon School of Combat, my teammates Kyle and that. I want to thank the full-time team from the Chris Reese Academy. Them guys know who they are. I want to thank my management company, Sucker Punch Sucker Punch Entertainment. They've been absolutely phenomenal. I signed with September, and it's one of the best decisions I've made in my career. I just want to thank everybody else who's really helped me on this journey. My mother, she's an inspiration, and my girlfriend, and my brothers, and everybody else.
All right, well, we're looking forward to you one more time, March 20th, Mobile Aerofest Titan Fighting Championship 33, taking on Walel Watson for the world title. Thank you very much for joining us today, Brett. We appreciate it, and good luck in the upcoming fight.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you in the US. Peace.